What is up, everybody? Michael here, bringing you another video today. Today, it is another episode of Chew on This, and we have Ash from the channel Captain Vitus Show. How are you doing, Ash?
I'm doing excellent, man. I'm happy to be on. I'm happy to be a person.
Yeah, me too, man. 2016's ending, and it's good to be alive.
Yeah, they still got a few days left. They might take us out too.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers. Let's hope. Let's hope we'll make it. So, what this is, if you guys don't know about this channel, I'm Michael, like I said, and basically what Chew on This is, we invite YouTubers on and we kind of do some talking. We do some talking about movies, games, whatnot, and talking about, YouTube in general. So, Ash, let's just start, getting to know you. What got you started on YouTube and when did you start?
Oh, well, it was in 2013, I believe, where I was still working at my first job at a Subaru dealership down here in Boulder, Colorado for my dad. And I'd been working there for like 3 years. And as I worked there, I'd gotten more and more into movies and all that stuff. And, in that, I got into these YouTube movie reviewers. And it got to a point where, 3 years in working the same thing gets a bit aggravating. I was just walking through like our tech bay, and the techs, they use that thing as a racetrack, and it frightens me, and you almost die like 10 times a day, and I just had it. So I just ran into my dad's office, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And of course, being my father, he was like, so do you have a plan, like, for what you want to do after this? And literally, it was on a whim. I just went, I'm going to do movie reviews. So
it began.
Yeah, exactly. So I gave in my 2 weeks, and I didn't start until February of 2014. And I remember the Lego movie was coming out, and I was just like, let's make that my first thing. And 2014, it began, and ever since then, it's evolved into what it is now.
Yeah, and I can tell you're having fun with it. The reason I found out about you, actually, and this is going to be a topic of conversation eventually later on in the video, through your Batman vs. Superman review.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I would like you to talk about it because you are one of the few people I know personally that thoroughly love the movie. So
I'm a defender, yeah.
Yeah, so what exactly, going back now, what exactly got you into film besides working at a Subaru dealership?
Well, you know what? It's ironic you just said that because I literally just uploaded my throwback review for the movie that got me into film, because I was always into movies the same way anyone is, where it's like, we'll go see this, this, and that. I was raised on Star Wars, all that good stuff. But I never became the movie guy until my sophomore year of high school, when I had just gotten Netflix Instant. So it was back around when they were still doing all the things, and you're just like, oh, wow, this is a new thing. I can watch movies just in my basement. And they had Die Hard on there. And I remember every show I had watched at the time had referenced Die Hard at one point. So I was like, why not? Let's see where it gets me. And, oops, my life changed. I mean, I watched that movie. I was blown away by everything it did. Bruce Willis, I was just like, oh my God, this and this and that. Of course, I then binged the other movies. I watched all 3 were on there. I went out, I bought 4. I was just like, oh my God, this is so good.
You do it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And through that, I got into a lot more film just through Netflix, and then it became a thing where I got my friends into film, and we'd have marathons, and our marathons led to us becoming avid Blu-ray collectors, which of course evolved into all the Blu-rays I'm staring at right now, along with all my DVDs. And I took a few film classes in high school, and it kind of it became my thing. I became Ash the movie guy. Even before I did reviews on YouTube, I used to just go on Facebook and write a couple paragraphs after I saw a movie. And I remember even after I graduated, I'd still go back to the school. I remember one time in particular to work on a commercial with a friend of mine who was doing some, advertisement for the school or something we had going, and he wanted me to be an extra in it. And everyone came up to me who had kind of known me from high school, and they just referred to me as the movie guy. And I was like, I have a thing now, and that's carried on. Now my current job, I'm the movie guy. So I don't know. It's a title that I wear with honor.
Yeah, and you should be proud of it. Movie reviewing is awesome. And I also noticed that you have dabbled into filmmaking itself in the shorts that you've made. Are you more of a director kind of guy, or are you more of a writer creatively?
Oh, I like that question. I'd say I'm more of a writer, just because it's like the little shorts that I have on my channel, like any of the ones from high school, I did everything on those, like wrote, directed, starred in, all that stuff. And like the newer stuff I have out, like me and my friend Will, we've made like 2 short films, really 1 short film and 1 video that I consider a short film just because I'm so proud of it. But it's one of those things where directing for me, it's like I can direct me and 1 other person who's like my best friend ever, and I'm like, oh yeah, fine. But then like when I look at like serious productions, like I tried one, I think right after I graduated, I had written up a script that I was really proud of, and I attempted directing it. I bought a bunch of equipment. I was like, got cameras, microphones, lights you see behind me, everything. And it just kind of fell apart because I was like, directing is hard. I don't really like it, which is why, I eventually fell to, I have all this equipment. Let's just set it up in the room. But as far as writing goes, I still write a lot. Like I still have a lot of short films that I've written that are just absolutely ridiculous in every sense of the world. They're no artistic genius merits. They're more so things I've written that I'm like, how stupid can I truly make this?
Yeah.
And then I have some actual serious projects I work on. But yeah, I definitely consider myself more of a writer, whether it be movies or any other thing else.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. I do a lot of writing. I find directing impossible.
It's terrifying.
It's extremely terrifying. It's extremely difficult and extremely terrifying telling people what to do, and you don't want to come off, too strong or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember like the day I realized I didn't want to be a director was I was watching like the bonus features on The Hobbit, and I just saw Peter Jackson running around to all these stations, and he looked so stressed, and everyone's just like, what about this? And he's like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of a give me a small task and it'll probably overwhelm me kind of guy. So yeah, put me in charge of an entire production. Probably not going to be your best idea.
No. Okay. Yeah. So moving back to now the Batman vs Superman thing, I'd like you to talk about that because I'm really curious. I'm sure a lot of people are. What draws you to that movie so much that you're willing to defend it so hard?
Well, it's something like, on the one hand, I'm just a diehard Batman fan. Like, he's my boy. All I read are Batman comics. The only comics that aren't Batman comics I read are ones that he eventually will appear in just at times. And at the same time, if you think about Batman, you think about like all the incarnations we've got of him, like over the years cinematically. And as far as I'm concerned, we haven't had a good one until Ben Affleck. Oh, wow. So I was like, this is that comic book Batman I love. Like, this is the one that could almost rival Kevin Conroy. Like, he's not on that level of Kevin Conroy yet, but he's like there. And then I watched Batman versus Superman, and it's one of those movies where the first time, like, I saw it like a week early, and I had everyone's first reaction. I was like, this is kind of a mess. It has all this stuff and all this, but I'm also someone who's known for always having a first bad impression. Like, I'll see a movie, I'll poo on it, I'll be like, this, and that, and then I'll see it again, and like just having those expectations managed will like make me go, oh, I see these problems, but I don't care anymore. Like, it happens a lot. It just happened recently with Star Wars Rogue One, but with Batman v Superman in particular, the second time I saw it in theaters, a lot of the problems, I still saw them, and I went, it's so paced a little bit weird and all this stuff, but I don't care. And then I bought the extended edition. Okay. That 3-hour cut, and I've watched it 3 times since I bought it.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. I just think I think it's just like 30 minutes they've tacked on to it, and I don't know what it is, but that 30 minutes, it just made it feel like such a full movie. It patched out all the little flaws, and it was like, oh, this is kind of a continuity error, and it made it not one. In fact, it improved the movie as a whole. It really took any complaints I had and improved them to such extents. And on top of that, I don't like to get super defensive about it just because, you see the wars that are going on, and just both sides, they're just, these guys, they're really sad. But like for me personally, I'm more of like, I watched that cut and it gave me everything I wanted out of that movie. And I think Zack Snyder, I love him. People compare him to Michael Bay. I'm like, no, you see, he has like really crazy little metaphors he tries to put into his movies. I mean, it's more so a movie about, this is why I love it, is because it's more so a movie about superheroes trying to be human as opposed to a movie about humans trying to be superheroes, like that's why I love his incarnation of Superman. That's why I love everything that's going for that. And I just cannot wait to see that go further, because Suicide Squad was not good, but
yeah,
we'll see how the other ones work. I'm hella hyped to see like Deathstroke and everything come in. So I don't know. It's a movie that's connected with me the more and more I've watched it, and it's still in my top 5 of the year. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking on that, let's talk about, some things that happened in 2016 movie-wise, and later we'll dive into video games because I know you're a fan of that as well. So, well, what drew to you besides Batman vs Superman big time in 2016?
2016 hasn't been a good year, but I think there have been like a handful of good movies. Like up until like now, Zootopia has been my favorite movie of the year.
Really? It's
like it got knocked down to number 3 after Rogue One and La La Land, but it's like Zootopia to me, it was like 3 movies in one. It was a great buddy cop movie. It was a great movie about racial issues, and it was a great movie about talking animals, and it took all those things, combined them together, and just made this world that I fell in love with and all of that. And that was a movie that it was connecting with me for months, because month after month, this has just been such a disappointing year that you really have to go back to the movies that you were like, oh, this was good, and this was good, and this was good, to just keep you going. But more so than that, like my favorite movie of the year right now is La La Land, which I went and saw at the Denver Film Festival and fell in love with. Waited a month, finally got to see it again, and I cried my eyes out. Like, I was just like, this is why I love movies. It's because you can see movies like this and just have incredibly emotional experiences with fictional characters, with fictional problems. And I don't know, I think that's something that's really beautiful. So I don't know, when you ask me about 2016, I'll just think like big piles of crap next to a few little masterpieces in the rough there.
And I feel the exact same way. I haven't seen a whole bunch of movies I can count on, two. I've seen more movies I can count on my hands and feet, but I can count on 2 hands how many I loved, And Rogue One was up there for me. And I have a question for you. What'd you feel about Moana? Have you seen that?
Oh, loved Moana.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah, because you see, after I saw La La Land, the thing was the soundtrack wasn't out. And that was just a torturous experience for a month to have all those songs stuck in my head. And I was like, oh, God, wish something would come along to like ease this pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then like enter Moana, where it's like, hey, we have this Disney movie that's, going back to them Disney classic roots, where we're going to give you this wonderful story, amazing characters, but also beautiful songs that you can listen to while you wait for that soundtrack to drop. And I wore out that music album. Like, I was just listening to the song The Rock sings.
You're welcome.
I walk around my house singing that. I love it. I love it to death. I sing it to the dog. I'm just like, that's some good stuff. Yeah, no, that's one that's definitely in my top 10 as well.
Yeah, see, I was wondering, because what I love about talking about movies is we could have totally differing opinions, and I want to hear you out, because maybe you can open my eyes to something that I didn't notice, or I can open your eyes to something that you didn't notice, So my favorite animated film of the year was Moana, followed by Sing, and then followed by Zootopia after that.
Yeah. Sing was pretty damn good. I wasn't expecting much from Sing, but
me neither, actually.
I left with a smile on my face, and I was like, wow, I did not expect that from you, Illumination.
Yeah. And Matthew McConaughey has a koala. I mean,
oh yeah, he's excellent.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's really like it didn't wind up in like my top 5 animations of the year. But as far as Illumination is concerned, I was just like, geez, good job.
Very good. Yeah. So on the other end of the spectrum, what shot the bed for you? What was just awful?
Oh boy. Well, the obvious answer is, for 150 Shades of Black, which.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a gimme there.
Yeah, which was about as bad as you'd assume a Marlon Wayans spoof movie of 50 Shades of Grey would be. I mean, I've talked to people who've actually seen 50 Shades of Grey, because, I don't know, that came out the same time Kingsman did, and I was just like, I'm just going to see Kingsman twice.
Yeah.
Because at that time I had like a bit more self-respect for myself. But now that's all out the window. You know, I go into January and I'm like, we're seeing every pile of shit we can.
Waiting for Bye Bye Man to drop. So that should be exciting for film fans everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. It's like 50 Shades of Black, Norm of the North. Those are the obvious ones people would like me to cling to. But there are two other in particular that really just hurt me inside that no one really noticed because they were straight to Netflix movies. But for one, Adam Sandler had a new movie out this year called The Do-Over,
which I saw and hated miserably. I never finished it.
It's horrific. Like, I watched it for a friend of mine who's also on YouTube, A to Z Reviews. He was having this thing called like Movie Mondays where they'd watch movies, and him and my friend Chase from a few mixed reviews, they would like have commentary for it. And I was like, hey guys, if you're doing Do-Over, let me on there, because we watched Ridiculous 6 last year and we had a grand old time just roasting the movie as it went along. And we sat down and watched the Do-Over and we couldn't even do it. Like, we were just so shocked by the true amount of crap in there that we were like, how is this a new low for Adam Sandler? It's like he keeps digging bottom. It's like he's got the world's biggest shovel. Then on top of that, I thought I only had to deal with him running around doing that. Kevin James is doing it too now. Like, he had this movie called True Memoirs of a International Assassin.
Which I've seen the trailer for. It's awful.
Oh my God. It's like, you know how you watch a movie and, you know, like, as you're watching the movie's like sending, you know, plot points and twists at you, and you're just like, you're absorbing them into your subconscious and all that. True Memoirs of an International Assassin is that kind of movie where you sit down, you watch it, you have no distractions whatsoever. You threw your phone across the room, you're trying to get into it, but as these are getting to you, it feels like they're just bouncing off some barrier, because it feels like a movie that gives you nothing. You're just sitting there like, why? Like,
why is this happening? You know, and people love these movies. You know, we may be in the minority, to be honest with you. People love these fucking movies. I don't know why. I don't see any entertainment.
I don't know. I haven't met anyone who loved True Memoirs of International Assassins. Given I haven't met anyone who has seen it.
Who's seen it, exactly.
But I don't know. It's like there's a long list of movies like that, but those are the ones that just genuinely kind of hurt me inside.
Yeah, okay. So in the same ballpark, I guess, how about, like, I love to ask this question because, like I told you, I love to, you know, see things in a different perspective. So have you ever seen a film that is regarded as good or very great or perfect and you just didn't get it or hated it or anything like that? Ever. You can go as far back as you want. Anything, the biggest memory of that.
It's my life, dude. Like, it's either that or it's the opposite. Like,
which I will ask you after this.
Exactly. There's always like in general, like just this year, this year, nothing really comes to mind. But as far as movies that everyone loved that I wasn't huge on, I'm not big on the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Really?
Like, yeah, everyone loves those, and I just like, man, Tobey Maguire looks 30. I mean, I know Andrew Garfield was 30, but he didn't look it. Like, he sucks. I didn't like that. And on top of that, we were just talking about Batman. I hate that Michael Keaton Batman. I hate it. I hate it so much. I've given it so many chances to just, you know, help me help it. I'm just like, let me like you. Yeah. Just give me something, but it never does. Like, I guess Batman Returns was better because it had Danny DeVito, but I get that a lot. Like, typically it's just like I'm underwhelmed. I was like, last year everyone loved Sicario. I went into it, was bored, just kind of walked out. Like,
really, I loved Sicario, so that's interesting.
Honestly, that's just kind of been my reaction to a lot of movies. Where a lot of these movies that are actually getting a lot of Oscar potential, like I walk out of not like necessarily not liking, like I enjoy them, but not to the extent they're meant to be enjoyed. Like, okay, Moonlight's a big movie everyone's falling in love with.
Which was my number 2 of the year. Yeah.
It's like, I see why everyone loves that movie, but I walked out of it like, you know, it's not as good as all of these movies. And then I had the same thing happen with Manchester by Sea. I'm just like, these movies, I'm just like, There's so many movies. It's like the movie Storks is better than like half of the Oscar bait movies that have come out this year, and that kind of confuses me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you have movies like Collateral Beauty come out, which I have not seen. I don't want to put myself through
don't bother.
Have you seen it?
Lied to? Because that's what it feels like being lied to going into Collateral Beauty.
I've heard, I have read online about the ending of the film, and that's a whole nother subject. That could be like an hour-long video about how they completely.
It's just bullshit, man. You just watch it and you're like, no. Yeah. It's just a complete betrayal.
Yeah. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, is there any like bad film considered bad and you've liked or loved or?
See, that's the question I like more, because those are the ones I have a ton of. Like, if we're talking this year in general, a movie I saw more recently that I loved, Rotten Tomatoes score, is Man Down with Shia LaBeouf, where he plays.
Which I was so pumped to see. I haven't gotten a chance to see it. I was so excited to see it. The trailer is awesome.
I walked into it and I'm like, I love Shia. Like, I don't give a shit. People are like, he's just a meme, Ash. And I'm like, yeah, well, he's my meme. I love him to death. I watch him do all his art things. And I'm like, you know what? He's a genius. I went into that movie and I loved everything about it. I thought it was one of the most emotional of the year. And I walked out, looked at the Rotten Tomatoes score. It was like 10%. And I was like,
yeah.
What? I don't get it. And then on a less, like, you know, interesting opposite of the spectrum, Rider. I love the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie. Like,
really?
People, they come up to me, they're like, Ash, how do you not like Spider-Man, but you like the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider? And I'm like, it's Nicolas Cage. He sets on fire and kills people. He eats their souls. What do you mean? What do I like about this movie? It's amazing. Love everything about that. I love Sam Elliott just running around mumbling and Nicolas Cage is pointing at everything and then screaming. It's just, I don't know. There's something about that movie. I have an insanity in my heart Ghost Rider connects with, and I'm just like, I love that shit. I live for that shit. Oh yeah. Yeah.
a few things that happened to me in 2016. I saw 999. I don't know if you've seen it. It went here and went, and people shout all over it or didn't see it. That's one of my favorite cop movies of all time. I've seen it 3 times now, and I love it.
Really? Damn. Yeah. You and my friend Ram would get along. Yeah, we got in a big fight over that one because he came out of it and went, I love this film. And I was like, how?
I mean,
you know what? That spanned a week, but we're over it.
Yeah, I could see all the problems with it. I could see that, you know, parts of it are stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It ends horribly, but I loved it. I thought it was one hell of a ride. And then another film that people still bring up to me and make fun of me about, my friends do. I love the RoboCop remake. I don't know what.
Yo, what's wrong with the RoboCop remake?
Thank you. People shit on me all the time because I love the RoboCop remake. I thought it was fun. I thought it was so cool. Michael Keaton was awesome.
Right? You know? Oh, dude, I went into that expecting it was actually the second review I ever did, and I walked out of that like, that was shockingly good. I recall really liking Gary Oldman in that too. Like, yes!
Oh my god! Like, when he's just running around screaming, "Alex, Alex!" It's the best. It's the best.
Oh.
But see, I have no nostalgia about the original, really. I've seen it. I don't love it, but so...
I'm in that same boat. I feel like we're on the same page with RoboCop.
So going into it was just like, oh, okay, and then I loved it. So, you know, now I have a buddy who I can talk to RoboCop about whenever I want, and we could wait on the sequel together.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. So talking about stuff like that brings me to the next subject, video games. I love video games. I play Xbox. I have a Wii, PS3. I love all of them. So... I noticed you're a big Wii U guy. Is that the only like modern console you have?
I got my Wii U and I also have my PS4. It's just in my basement and I don't get to play it as much. The Wii U's right here and leaving my room is kind of a frightening task. Because, you know, like, who knows? Someone might ring the doorbell while I'm walking downstairs and I'll have to like
talk to someone.
I'll have to have human interaction and that's terrifying. But no, like, I got the PlayStation for, you know, my normal needs. You know, like I love the Telltale games. So I'm like, oh, I got to play all those. Of course, all the Batman Arkham games. Those are my babies. But I was raised on the Nintendo stuff. So really just grew into loving it. I never grew out of it. Like, there was a point. Like in middle school, I feel like that's the time we all try and be cool.
Yeah.
Even though we're not cool.
I feel
and then we get out of that and we're just like, wait, but fuck that. Pokemon's awesome. Yeah. So like,
I still love that shit. I want to buy a 3DS just to play the new Pokemon.
I got mine right here.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I want one so bad.
I beat, I bought both of the new ones and I beat Sun like within a week. And I remember like my biggest, just one of my biggest like child to adult moments I've had all year was I went to the liquor store to, pick up some liquor and donations for the orphans. And I was wearing an Umbreon shirt and the guys at the liquor store started losing their shit over it. And I was just like, oh yeah, I just beat the game. And they were just screaming at each other like, he's already beaten the game and all this. And I walked outside and I was like, that's childhood and adulthood collided in the best way possible.
Are you pumped for the NX by chance?
Oh, hell yeah. Like, initially I wasn't, just because I was just like, young. And then I remember it's not that young. I mean, what was it, like 2012 when it came out, something like that. And I guess sales aren't doing good. And people seem to be really pumped about the NX. I think it has a lot of features. Like, I think its portability is going to be a much bigger deal than the Wii U ended up being, because I remember all of us were just like, oh yeah, Zelda when you poop, Zelda when you poop. And then you go to your bathroom and it's like, we don't have a connection. And you're like,
or you just have like the map when you're playing Batman Arkham. You just have the map when you're sitting on the toilet. You can scroll around a little bit.
Exactly. That's my favorite part of the Wii U was the map. Like, because my favorite game of all time is Wind Waker. So when I got like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, I was just like, oh, I could just look at the map here, look up. Oh my god, yeah, no, but like, perfect. With NX, like they'd be talking like they're like, oh, hey, that new Zelda's gonna be on it, and I'm like, okay, well, you have my money then. Like, I live by a few things in my life, and Zelda is one of them. So yeah, no, I'm pumped for it. I think it looks really cool. I'm interested to see how a lot of things are implemented. I'm really excited to see what that Mario title is going to be that they showed off in the teaser, because I guess Zelda got delayed again, so they'll probably launch with that. So I'm intrigued for a new 3D Mario and all that, so I'm really excited to check it out.
All right, and what about this year in gaming? Anything stand out to you?
Mainly Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's like, trying to think, like, a lot of the stuff I've played on my PlayStation has all been like remasters and all that stuff, but
same here on my Xbox One.
I think as far as
remasters.
Yeah, exactly. Like Arkham Remastered came out. I was like, awesome. BioShock Remastered came out. Awesome. Got all that. I mean, like, I will say, like, one game that, and when it came out, was Tokyo Mirage Sessions for the Wii U, which was that Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei game.
Oh, okay.
And it was fun as shit. Like, it was total weeaboo bullshit. And I try so hard to distance myself from that, because I like to go out in public and not just feel like a piece of shit. But I was playing it. I was just like, oh, this is bringing me back to my mad weeaboo days. I like this.
Yeah.
It was really fun. The combat in that game is awesome. I loved how they combined all the different elements. Given I'm not a huge Shin Megami Tensei guy, but I really enjoy Fire Emblem, so I'm like, oh yeah, that. And the Fire Emblem games were good too. Forgot they released like 2 of them.
Yeah, which was confusing. I read online about them, released them, and they're kind of like the same game, but they're kind of not. So
yeah, exactly. They wanted to be Pokemon, and I was like, oh yeah, and it's just, each game you just choose a different people to follow around, and I guess one of them's harder. I think it was Conquest, but I just played through Birthright, and I really enjoyed that, but just it didn't live up to the last one, because Fire Emblem Awakening was just like, it awakened a love in my heart for video games. I was just like, oh my god, this is the best. So it was like, it's hard to beat that, and it didn't. So honestly, yeah, my entire year was just waiting for Pokemon to come out, and it came out, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. I fell in love with the new ones like so fast, and I'm still playing them like religiously at this point.
Yeah, and I want to jump into them. I'm currently trying to do like my 3rd or 4th playthrough of Arkham Knight. I just got like the premium edition. So I'm trying to just go through it again. I love that game.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in love with that. I bought that special edition that comes with the big Batman statue that was like $100, and I was like, yeah, I don't need food. Like that will be my purchase for the week.
And I mean, like we were talking about film, there have been some games I just don't get the appeal of. I like the original Watch Dogs a lot. I'm in like the minority that love that game religiously. I played Watch Dogs 2, fucking hated it, returned it the second day. So any games like that stand out to you this year? You didn't get it at all?
Well, not exactly that I didn't get it at all, as far as I just started playing it and went, oh no. Like, I'm not exactly in the minority in saying No Man's Sky was pretty much a big disappointment. Like, I was super hyped for that because I typically stick to my Wii U, but I watch all the E3 stuff, and when they first showed the trailer for that, I was like, oh no, but it's got dinosaurs.
It looked amazing.
I love dinosaurs. It looked beautiful. It's like all this space travel and all of it. And I remember really trying to get into it. Like, I bought it like a few days after it launched because it was sold out everywhere. So I'm like, oh, it must be the shit. And I brought it home and played it for like, I think maybe 3 hours before I was like, I'm really trying to force fun here. Like, when you're into something, you're like, I paid $60 for this. I
just want to at least get my money's worth and give it back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You're just like, it's not working. It's going in the sell this to the secondhand store pile. Like, that one for me, it's like, honestly, nothing else really this year has disappointed me, just because, with video games, it's much more expensive. Like, that's why I typically stick to movies, is just because I'm like, there are a lot of ways of seeing movies for free. You can get that movie pass, you can go to them early screenings, all that. With video games, I'm like, yeah, that's an investment, not of just money, but of time. So it's like,
completely, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I've kind of stuck to the 3DS side of things, just because, with my channel, I also have a job. I work a lot, and with that and screenings, I don't really get a chance to play just home console gaming as much as I'd like to. So it's just like, I'll stick to the ones on here, and then those will get beaten, and the other games will get beaten over the course of a few years.
Eventually, exactly.
Exactly.
Put it on your backlog.
Yeah.
So speaking of backlog and putting it off to the next year, 2017 is coming right around the corner.
Fucking finally, yeah.
What are you pumped for?
Dude, so much. And I'm so scared to say I'm so pumped, because I was so pumped for this year too.
As was I. Suicide Squad, I mean.
I was so hyped for... I didn't even like Suicide Squad until I saw the trailer for that. Then I started reading the comics, and I watched Assault on Arkham, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, exactly. Cool. Exactly. Then I saw the movie, and I was like, why didn't you just do Assault on Arkham? Just do it live action. No one would give a shit. But with 2017, the sun, it looks like it's shining a little bit brighter. I don't see the problem in getting a little bit excited for our eventual disappointment. But there's a lot coming out that I'm hyped out of my mind for, like, raised on Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I'm insanely hyped for episode 8. Like, episode 7, it pleased me on all accounts. It's in my top, 30 of all time. I love that movie so much. In fact, last New Year's, my entire life, I'd been going to this one New Year's party thrown by this group of family friends. And, last year was the first year they didn't do it. So I was like, well, there's an 11 o'clock showing of Force Awakens that I could go to and then wake up in the next year.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking of doing that again this year with Rogue One and or La La Land, but who knows? But, episode 8, easily the most anticipated. On top of that, Guardians 2 looks amazing.
Uh-huh.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy. That's my favorite Marvel movie, just because I love that space opera. And that trailer they released, the second that came out, I just binge watched it. Like, it came out while I was on my break at work. I was just like,
yeah,
these guys won't miss me for another 10 minutes. Like, I'm just going to keep watching that again. And on top of that, Beauty and the Beast.
Which looks great, actually.
Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie of all time. So I'm so excited, because I'm a guy, I don't get bent out of shape over remakes. If they suck, they suck. The government
I'm fine with it as well.
Because, if they suck, the government isn't going to come to my door and go, hey, you got to give up your normal copy. Yeah, this new one, this is the only one you can enjoy now. If that was the case, yeah, I'd be protesting Lion King too. Yeah. But I want to see Lion King because that shit's probably going to look really rad. It might, disappoint a lot of people, but it'll look really cool. And, there's so much coming out in 2017. Wonder Woman looks great. Justice League, I'm excited for. Lego Batman.
Oh man, I just saw the trailer for that recently when I went to go watch Sing, and I thought it was hilarious.
Dude, every time they keep on releasing trailers, and I'm like, okay, now I'm not going to be into it. And I'm like, oh no, I'm into it again.
It's still funny,
like,
yeah.
It's like it's just it has it has three of my favorite things in there. Like, you know, for one, Batman. I've talked about Batman. I love him. Then you have Will Arnett as Batman, and Will Arnett, his voice is now like, I just watched all of BoJack Horseman, and I have an emotional connection to that show. So like now whenever I hear Will Arnett's voice, I'm like, oh, depression and alcoholism, things I can grab onto, and now it's in Batman, yes! Oh, and what? You're going to make Robin Michael Cera?
Which is hilarious. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like Michael Cera only lives to improve everything he touches. I mean, it's just that movie, honest to God. It's like Guardians is my favorite superhero movie of the year. But as far as DC is concerned, even though I'm hyped out of my mind for Wonder Woman and Justice League, Lego Batman's above both of them. I'm just like, man, Lego movie was so good. I love Will Arnett's take on the character. It looks like it could be the best Batman parody we've ever seen. Like, still need to make my anticipated list considering the years coming. I'm going to have that video up soon. But as far as the ones that pop into head go, definitely those few.
And we got a lot of sequels and stuff. We got the conclusion of X-Men, Logan, which I fell in love with the trailer.
Oh my God, I forgot to mention it.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering. I was like, are you going to mention it? Because I saw your Wolverine poster in the back, and I was just like, I love the trailer.
Dude, oh my God, yeah, like, I'm, as much as I'm a defender of Batman versus Superman, like, I'm on that same level for the Wolverine. Like, nobody loves the Wolverine, except I love the Wolverine, because I'm like, it's Wolverine and samurais. Those are two of the greatest things ever, and you're going to shit on it? Like, it's amazing. And that trailer was just
beautiful.
It was breathtaking. It was beautiful.
I cry when I see it. Not even going to lie to you.
I remember, like, the night it came out, I was drunk off my ass, and I saw it was out, and I was just like, oh, Logan, let's watch it. And I watched it. The second the Johnny Cash song came on, because I've known that song for so long in my life, immediate tears. I was just like,
oh fuck, this is amazing.
Actually, I wound up buying a shirt. If you know, like that pose Johnny Cash does where he's flipping off the camera, I bought a shirt where it's Wolverine doing the same thing. Instead of Cash, it says Logan on it, and I'm like, well, now the movie better be good because I have memorabilia.
So. Yeah, you're gonna take the shirt to watch it, I'm assuming. So it better be good.
Definitely, I'll wear it 2 days in a row. First to watch it, and then the next day to review it. It won't get washed. I don't care.
Exactly. Also, we got the new Planet of the Apes movie, which I am pumped for. Woody Harrelson's in it.
Forgot that one too. See, that's how much good shit is coming out in 2017. Like every time I see the Planet of the Apes, the new trailer, I'm just like, it gives me a boner. I'm just like, oh my God. Caesar, I love you so much. I can't wait to see you wipe out my race. Like, do it now. Oh no, it's so good.
Yeah, and then I was totally, because I am my guilty pleasure movie, which I'll ask you about later on. My guilty pleasure movie is Fast and Furious. I love the series. Yeah. It's so fun. And then when I saw the trailer for the 8th one, I was just like, kind of, will I like that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I can stand this.
I don't know. It's like, I don't go into those movies for story anymore. Like, I love the first Fast and the Furious movie for its story, because I think that's a legitimately good movie. But at the same time, I love these new ones just because they're so ridiculous and over the top. It's just, it's nice to sit down and not question it. Like, in this new one, they're getting chased by a submarine. What? Like,
I know, and the lead guy has turned evil and all this crazy shit, you know?
All that crazy shit, but mainly they're getting chased by a fucking submarine. Like, how'd they get into this situation? I guess we'll have to find out. Like, it looks insane.
And Vin Diesel is not, like, that's not his only movie, because he's got Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, which I haven't
watched the original.
As do I. I haven't seen them yet. I've only heard about them, so...
Yeah, no, but those trailers, they're giving me those Fast and Furious vibes where I'm just like, this looks stupid. But I'm kind of down for it.
Yeah, stupid fun, exactly.
Exactly.
I have an ongoing bet about it. Will it be good? Will it be bad? Because it comes out around the same time as Split, which I'm super duper pumped for.
I think Split looks awesome.
Yeah, so I'm having an ongoing bet, which I will enjoy more, Split or Xander Cage, based solely off of how stupid and fun it will be.
I'm gonna place money on Split because I've heard good things about Split.
Yeah, I've actually heard good things about Split, and I've heard nothing about Xander Cage, so we'll see. In the video game front, I super duper pumped. I don't have PS4 anymore, but I'm thinking about buying one for Days Gone. I don't know if you know what that is. The zombie game looks so fucking cool, and then also Last of Us 2.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are hyped for that.
Have you played the original?
I haven't, and I know everyone tells me it's a masterpiece.
You have to do it.
Yeah, I always hated zombies, and everyone's like, they're not zombies, they're weird fungus creatures. And I'm like, yeah, but they run around like zombies. Like, I don't know, man. And I guess the story's great, so I'll definitely have to play it eventually, because everyone's always telling me just how like amazing it is. They're just like, oh, it's in my top 10 of all time, and I'm like, Jesus. It's like I remember the year that came out was the same year BioShock Infinite came out, and I was like, my year belongs to this, so yeah.
And BioShock Infinite was the first BioShock game I loved. So
really,
yeah, because I
no
think
love for the first one.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that just couldn't.
Wow.
I've tried like 5 or 6 times to play it. I just can't get into it.
I fucking love that game. Do you know what's bullshit though? I've bought like all the BioShock games 3 times now. Like, I had them once on Steam. Then I had them all on PlayStation 3. Then I just upgraded them all to PlayStation 4.
Exactly.
And the day they announced the remaster was the day I finished playing the original BioShock again.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, telling me I could have played this in better quality if I had just waited a month?
I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, I want to try again one more time, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want to spend $40 on a game that I don't know if I'll like it again, you know? So on that front, talking about me, you know, trashing on BioShock 1, is there any like game that stands out to you as, wow, that was amazing, and people just don't like understand what you're talking about? Because like I said, I love Watch Dogs 1, you know?
Well, and I almost don't want to admit this to the internet, but they're in the back of my video anyway. I love Sonic the Hedgehog, and I still do, and I always will. And the Sonic Adventure games, I feel like people have grown to hate. I feel like people have grown to make fun of. I still play the shit out of them, and I love them.
I love Sonic Adventure. What is it? I think it's the second one where you can be the fucking robot and you can just like go around blasting shit up. Love it.
Yeah, that's the second one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, I love it. Or wait, there was a robot in the first one too.
Oh, you're right. Or am I thinking of Sonic Heroes, which I also didn't hate? People hated that.
There was a robot in Sonic Heroes as well.
Yeah.
Well, in Sonic Adventure, you could play as a robot. You could play as E102 Gamma, and he was badass, and he just shot things, and his story was like surprisingly emotional.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was going to say in Sonic Adventure 2, you play like as Tails and Eggman in robots, like they're just walking around. But it's like, I don't know, those are games I grew up with and always loved and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, there are some games. I'm looking around my room right now. Project Cross Zone was good, in my opinion. It's that game where Capcom and a bunch of other people just mashed all their characters together, and they were like, we're going to make this dumb game. And the story is stupid. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous the way they work all the characters. And they're just like, oh, this is a different dimension. Or, oh, no, we entered another universe. And it's absolutely ridiculous, but it's so fun. Yeah. I love it so much.
And that's what games are for. Just have fucking fun. Exactly. That's why I don't know why people trash on like these games that I just find fun. They don't have like any substance story-wise at all, you know?
Yeah, I don't care that Sonic's mouth like goes like in Sonic Adventure. It's fun.
How devastating was like Sonic Boom?
Oh my god. I remember going into the GameStop that day to pick it up, and I had this smug grin on my face like, you know what? I'm going to be the guy to give this a chance because everyone out there is being a little pussy bitch. And like literally within 5 minutes of playing it, I was like, I wasted my money.
Yeah, and that's just the worst feeling ever, honestly.
Given it led to a pretty successful review and all that, but at what cost?
Yeah, was it worth it? Truly.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like they have like a new Generations coming out, I guess, and Sonic Generations is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm like, that'll get shit back on track. Because they just got back on track. They got Generations out. They fixed all the problems that you have with normal modern day Sonic games, and they kind of combined the good parts together, and then they immediately fucked that up. But
yeah, I mean, I don't mind like the on rails stuff as long as it works. To be honest with you, it's fun. It's fun to just watch them go all around. Ride the rails. It's fun.
Yeah, just put down your controller, eat a sandwich. You're like,
I don't hate it. It looks cool, for the most part.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the buy or sell segment. Ash knows what this is, but if you don't know what it is, it's basically where I offer up two different things. Ash can buy on one, and he could sell on the other one, meaning he would take one over the other. So we're just going to jump right into it. Would you buy or sell on a properly redone Assassin's Creed movie or a really good remake of a Mortal Kombat?
You know what? I would buy the good Assassin's Creed movie.
As would I.
And then sell the Mortal Kombat one just because that original Mortal Kombat is entertaining enough and Assassin's Creed was a tragedy.
Can we just talk about that for a second? Because I haven't done my review of it yet, but oh my fucking God. That is my worst movie of 2016, full disclosure. I fucking hated it. I was so sad. Because Michael Fassbender is my favorite actor of all time.
And he was just mailing it in.
Yeah.
Everyone was.
It was so shit. And the action was pretty shit. Like jumping back and forth was awful.
Between timelines, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God. It was just talking about the movie gets me angry.
I am curious though, because I see a lot of reviews. Not a lot of people are bringing this up. What did you think about that bird?
Oh.
How they segued into every new scene with a long shot of that bird.
I watched it with a buddy of mine, and we went to the 6 o'clock day before screening of it, because we're big Assassin's Creed fans. I've been playing since the first one when I was a little kid, and we walked in, and there's 2 other people in our movie theater to start.
Yeah.
And then slowly more people start trickling, oh, maybe it won't be so bad. But we saw earlier reviews of it were shit,
But you always go into something like that, but everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, because I'm a sucker for these kind of movies anyway, and I love Michael Fassbender, so how fucking bad could it be? The second the fucking eagle showed up, I was just like, whoever made this movie saw a trailer for the game, and then just went with it. The eagle is the best part of Assassin's Creed, so they have to show it every single time. It was so stupid.
That's what I mentioned in my review. It doesn't feel like it was made by people who genuinely loved the property as much as it was made by people who just had a dream to make a movie with as many overdrawn bird shots as possible of the same shitty CGI eagle.
And I think just the lines are so bad.
It's terrible.
Some of the lines don't even make sense. It's the priest talking to him in the jail. He's like, I heard it's your birthday. Why do you know that it's his birthday? What does that have to do with anything?
Party's just getting started.
And he's like, the party's just getting started. I'm going to die today. Okay, Michael Fassbender. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That wasn't good. I sure do wish it was good.
The trailer, people shout on the trailer too, and I was the defender of it. I was like, just because it has Kanye West music on it doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I was like, but it looks pretty, right? And then you see the movie and you're like, I can't even see anything. It's either too dark or too dusty. What's going on?
It's the equivalent of me doing just this for an hour and a half.
Just cutting in between you from the past and you from the future, fighting.
Which I thought was so dumb because they must have filmed the whole
R so you could show me the shit. That's why they did it.
I'm sure it was because they would just show Michael Fassbender doing his little, hand stuff.
Because that's what I paid to see. Michael Fassbender fighting nothing.
Exactly.
I just wanted to see him do martial arts in the air.
Yeah, and it basically did the Jason Bourne formula where they don't really show it. They just feel the camera hit you all over, but it's worse in every sense of the word.
It's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible.
We could do a whole nother thing on that too. So
one of these days.
Yeah. On to the next buy or sell. Would you buy or sell on having the NX right now in your hands with all the games they have announced, or continuing the life of the Wii U?
I'm going to say buy the NX just because that new Zelda looks amazing, man. Like
Breath of the Wild.
it's like, yo, my Wii U doesn't disappear, right? Like it's still here. It's just its life cycle is dead.
Yeah.
It's like, that's okay. My will to live died too. It'll just live there with that and everything. Whereas the NX, hey man, that new Zelda. Like,
yeah. It's a whole new ballpark.
Yeah.
And when they demoed it on Jimmy Fallon, I was just blown away. I was so...
Yeah, no, I watched those trailers and cry.
Yeah, I was so struck by it. I'm not a huge Zelda fan by any stretch of the imagination, but those gameplay just made me want to go out and buy a Wii U right now, or NX.
I am massive fucking fanatic. Like, ever since I played Smash Bros. Melee for the first time, and I was like, who's this elf guy? I was addicted. Like, I love that series to death.
The green little elf took your heart from that point on.
Yes, he did, and he hasn't given it back.
And I don't think he ever will. If Breath of the Wild is awesome, and it probably will be.
Die, and people are gonna like open my heart and be like, "It's gone." They're gonna like turn, see some green elf going da 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 da.
So okay, we're gonna buy or sell on the next one. Buy or sell on another Star Wars movie akin to Rogue One, filling in the gaps in between movies, or another just Star Wars spin-off movie completely apart from the 7 we have, whether that be a prequel or way far in the future from then.
You know what? I'm going to buy the spinoff that enriches the universe as opposed to just ones that fill in the gaps, because while I love Rogue One, and I love what that did because that like fixed a huge plot hole in A New Hope.
Oh my God, yes. Without spoiling it, the biggest plot hole in Star Wars history. Fixed.
Exactly. It's just like, there it goes. There you go. But like, when you really think about Star Wars and how rich a universe that is, and how you could explore it into like different characters that reach different places. Like, I'm not talking that Han Solo young baby movie, baby Muppet Han Solo. I don't give a shit. I'll probably give a shit when I see a trailer, but I don't give a shit now. But like,
yeah, neither do I. Yeah.
But if you saw like a Force Unleashed movie, something along those lines, or like a Darth Maul movie, a Boba Fett movie, or just a movie about just some random fucker who's cool. Like, I'd love to see a Star Wars Western. Like, how cool would that be?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That would be amazing. Like, I think that's the thing. I'd like to enrich the universe as opposed to just enrich the storyline, you know? Because I think with, like, what we got going now, that's what we can do. We don't need to just be like, well, hey, what about Han Solo? What about him? Well, what about when he was a kid and he had, like, it's like, I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah, who cares, honestly?
Eventually, he grew into Harrison Ford, and he made me feel weird about my sexuality, and he still does. I once flirted with a girl by telling her her smile was almost as good as Harrison Ford's.
And how'd that go for you?
It worked. She was a cinephile. Like, she was like,
"Oh yes,
shut up!" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, you know the smile he gives in Raiders." And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You're like right there." And she was like, "Oh my God." And then she left me later. But in that moment, there was love, man.
Everything was perfect in that one moment. Exactly.
Exactly. But then she found someone who, I guess, Hanned her solo more.
Oh, there'll be another cinephile coming your way, Ash. I can feel it.
One of
the
these
force
days.
is calling you, dude. All right, this one's gonna be a little bit of a sad, kind of darker buy or sell, and I'm gonna call it kill a franchise.
Oh, right.
So, and I just changed it because originally it was gonna be something completely different, but now that you've expressed your love of Die Hard,
oh God,
would you rather kill Transformers or Die Hard?
You say that like it's difficult. I'd kill Transformers if it was like kill Transformers or kill like broccoli. I throw that knife into its heart.
Really?
The way it's hurt me.
Because I love Die Hard. I love the 4.
Yeah.
You know, and then A Good Day to Die Hard came along.
What are you talking about? That movie doesn't exist.
And I
never drove to Denver to see that movie in IMAX, man. Like that was just a weird dream I had.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like that like Die Hard's a terrible movie. Or not Die Hard. Die Hard 5 is a terrible movie. Die Hard 1 is a masterpiece, though. You can't say that about any of the Transformers movies. Like, Transformers 1. Transformers 2. What the fuck? Transformers 3. slightly better, but still, what the fuck? And then Transformers 4 made me so angry. I had to go into the mountains just to seclude myself for 3 days. That's not a lie. I went up there and I played Fire Emblem in a cabin for 3 days, and I came down a better person.
Did.
It actually happened. I went up to Buena Vista. I drove 3 hours. Just listening to Japanese lessons. Like, I'll learn something on the way up there. And I got up there and I was like, I didn't learn anything. And I came down like, I feel better.
And talking about the IMAX 3D, that was me for Transformers 4, by the way. No lie, I drove about 25, 30 minutes to go see Transformers 4 in IMAX 3D, and I fucking hated myself afterward.
I went to see it in the IMAX, like, even after hating all the other 3.
That's exactly.
The thing about the Transformers movies is they have terrible movies, but they have badass trailers. And Transformers 4 had that moment where Optimus is riding Grimlock through the city, killing motherfuckers with his sword, and I was like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I wore my Transformers shirt. I was like, oh my God, we're into this. And I went and I was just like, this is like 4 hours long and the Dinobots haven't shown up. And when they finally do, you're like, oh, I don't even care anymore. You're not even that cool.
And I hate Transformers movies because they do this thing where they're so shit. And then the last like 3 minutes are like, oh my God, this is so fucking awesome. And then it just ends and you're like, I want to go see the next one, even though it'll probably be shit too.
I don't know. This next one, it was the first time I saw the trailer and went, you're not getting me.
For me, it was the exact opposite because usually the trailers don't get me, but this one got me. Just
really?
For that last shot with Optimus fucking slamming his face down.
Huh.
And
I've been hurt enough times. It's like
4 times. So
it's like having an abusive boyfriend. It's like how many more times can I go back to him before I'm just like, enough's enough, Stacy. You gotta just give it up. Like,
leave.
Just leave, Michael Bay. He's like Hitler. Didn't you hear what Megan said?
Oh, Megan Fox. What a card. What a card. Yeah. So now that we're sadly nearing the end of our conversation, I'd like to ask you some big questions that should be easy for you to answer, that everyone likes to ask. What's your favorite movie of all time?
The best movie of all time is The Empire Strikes Back. Although my heart always says Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
Because it's like Empire Strikes Back is like, it's the sequel to end all sequels. It's the movie to end all movies, but man, I grew up on Tommy Boy. That movie's special to me, but I don't know, Empire. All the Star Wars movies really, but that one in general.
All right, because I was gonna ask, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Mine is Return of the Jedi, and I'm like one of the few people that will ever say Return.
You know what? My favorite part of Return of the Jedi. There's so much good about Return of the Jedi. There's Luke and Vader like taking out the Emperor in the beginning,
which is so awesome. Holy fuck, it's so cool.
The fight on Endor, but the best part of that movie to me is there's a scene where on Endor, Han Solo and all the guys, they get into the control room. And the stormtroopers finally break through, and one guy runs up and yells, "Freeze!" And Han Solo just throws a box at him, and it knocks his ass just into this crazy reactor thing, and he dies. And I'm like, that's the best kill in the series!
Yep, it is.
And every time I watch Return of the Jedi, I just wait for that moment, and I'm like, yeah.
That was fucking awesome, yeah. And you touched on your favorite game already, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. What do you think of that? It was the definitive way to play it, the HD re-release that came out for the Wii U.
Oh, most definitely. Just because, like, you got the map on the bottom, you got the fast sale, which makes everything better. Not to mention, given of all the Zelda games that needed an HD re-release, Wind Waker isn't the one that needed it because the cell shading made that game look timeless. Mm-hmm. But it still looks better. It looks brighter. It looks more visceral. It's just, I don't know. It's the prime way to play, in my opinion, is with that gamepad. Yeah. With all the little functionalities, never have to pause, even though every now and then you forget. You don't have to pause, and then you just drop out of the boat, and you're like, oh, fuck. But still, it's a small price to pay for convenience.
Uh-huh. I'm assuming then, is your favorite console of all time the GameCube?
You read me like a book. I actually have the GameCube, my first GameCube, right on display up here. It's now an artifact. It's got a Mewtwo on top of it with Smash Bros. Melee just hiding in the back. No, that's the console that changed the course of my life. I was like, oh yeah.
You know,
I'm a big kid now.
I don't have a GameCube anymore, but recently I played Rogue Squadron again on the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that game still holds up like really well. Like it's still hella fun to play.
Yeah.
Fucking good graphics. It's so awesome. And then Metal Gear Solid. I don't know if you're a fan. Metal Gear Solid, fucking awesome.
Yeah, I only ever played a little bit of Snake Eater, and I never really got into it.
Yeah, Snake Eater's not a good one to start on.
Yeah. I was gonna say I played like the demo, and I was like, oh, stealth. I like doing things big and dumb. That's why I play Grand Theft Auto. Like,
which is fun. It was so fun.
Given if they made a movie, I'd be first in line. I'd be like, oh, let's go see this weird shit take place. Woohoo!
And wouldn't that be amazing if they made a Metal Gear movie? Like, could you imagine? Like, who would direct a Metal Gear movie? Like Guillermo del Toro or something crazy like that?
Oh no, because I have him tapped already for my dream BioShock movie.
Oh,
yeah. See, I called him up. I booked him. I was like, yo, no, you got all this shit going on, but the second someone else makes a good video game movie, because I don't want BioShock to be the test baby since it's so special to me. I want someone else to do it right first, so it can be like superhero movies, and then goodness can follow the one that does it good first. Just not willing to put my first foot forward with my dream movie, so I'm like, that's why I was hoping Assassin's Creed would do it. I'm like, I have no emotional connection to Assassin's Creed. Let's let them do it, and then they didn't do it. I was like, fuck!
But some people still argue that Assassin's Creed is the closest thing we're going to get, and I don't know.
I don't know. I have friends who loved Warcraft, and I was like, I'm happy for you. I'm also very unhappy for me.
I didn't hate Prince of Persia, to be honest with you.
I never saw Prince of Persia.
It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if it holds up still, but I remember watching it. I really thought it was fun. Not a great movie, but fun. So
I don't know, man. I saw all 4 video game movies this year, and the only one that came out okay was the Angry Birds movie.
I knew you were going to say that.
Which makes me beg the question, is the Angry Birds movie the best video game movie of all time, Ash? To which I'd reply, fucking maybe. Although I do have some guilty love for the Super Mario Brothers movie just when I'm drunk.
Yeah, I was going to say it better be when you're under some sort of influence of something else.
When you're under the influence, that movie's amazing.
I would still argue that Mortal Kombat Annihilation is my favorite video game movie. And I'm not ashamed of that at all. I fucking love it. It's awesome.
I'm still in waiting.
Yeah. All right. How about your favorite TV show of all time?
Favorite TV show of all time. That kind of goes into like 2 different facets.
Go for it.
It's like, I think the best TV show I've ever seen, if you count like all different types of TV, would be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay, so you're an anime guy then, yeah?
I am an anime guy, so if you would count anime in there, it would be that. If not, it would definitely, without a doubt, be South Park. Which, I was talking to you earlier about how like I'm binging through Friends, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is an experience for me. I've done that with South Park 3 times this year. Like,
Jesus.
I love that show so much. Everything about it is just, it's my humor. I just watched that shit and I'm like, it's never gonna get old. And that last season was so good. And I'm just like, ah. So yeah, I'm pretty big into that shit.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed that you are one of the people, to be completely honest with you, you're probably one of the funniest people I've met on YouTube. So I know it warms your heart, doesn't it?
It does warm my heart. I try because I got to a point where I was tired of trying to be smart on YouTube. So I was like, I have put more and more effort into my jokeage every video. So it's nice to see it pays off somehow. Because every time I'll put like a joke in there and I'll just wait for the comments to pour in and I'll be like, then the first comment will just be like, great review. And I'll be like,
well, fuck you.
You didn't mention the joke that I planned for like hours. Like I
wrote it down over and over and over.
I was sitting in the movie. I made up the joke like a minute in. I just held it inside of me. Went, remember this.
But yeah, going off of that, do you have any tips for people that want to get into this, want to jump on the YouTube train, want to review movies?
Oh, most definitely. Like, feel like the one thing is, well, first off, do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest step, is getting up and doing it. Because I know one of my big things before I started was, like, I always had inklings to try. Like, there were points where I wanted to be a Let's Player, and then points where I was like, oh, I could do movie reviews. Like, I tried to do them, like, around Man of Steel, but I never got into it. It was just on a whim when I left my job, where I was like, oh, well, now I have to do it. But it's like, don't let fear overcome you. Get into it. If you want to do it, do it. In the beginning, you're going to suck, because everyone does.
Yeah.
Except for Stu Wilson of Stu Talks, who started out amazing, but he's the only one. He's the only one. Everyone else, like my first review, is still on my channel, not because I like it, but because it's up there for like educational purposes, to show, yeah, I was once very camera shy. I still can be very camera shy. It's one of those things. So when you start, you're going to suck. And if you're a fan of someone, you'll probably just be kind of a cheap imitation of them. So the big thing for me is find your voice, but don't get lost in that in the beginning. Like, don't sit there and think, before I start my channel, I need to find my voice. I'll spend a year looking for it, you know? That was kind of my thing, where I was like, what kind of reviewer do I want to be? Whereas, you know, it's like learning a new language. It's easier to get into it if you're just thrown into like a box of people talking that language.
Yeah.
So if you just start YouTube like I did, as just like kind of a shitty Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman crossover wannabe, then eventually you'll be able to evolve. You'll be able to just be like, okay, this and this, it's a bit too similar. It's like, you got to look at what makes me special. What would make people want to watch me? Because it's an oversaturated market. Like, that's the fact of the matter now. YouTube ain't what it used to be. There's a lot of people on here doing the same shit. So it's really all about personality as far as I'm concerned. That's why I inject humor into my shit now, because I don't want to just be the deadpan guy who just talks in front of the thing. I want people to like be able to know me for things, you know, for like humor, for certain words I use. I've been trying to like make badass my thing. Like, I'm like, if I add a little longer to the ass, people think it's my thing. Yeah. Then I'll say it when I'm looking at peacocks and it'll be cool. That's a reference to my Twitter. But yeah, no, that's really my biggest thing, is just find your voice, but let it come to you naturally. Don't force it. Just start, see what works, see what doesn't, and evolve. And eventually you'll evolve to a point where you're happy. And then you won't stop. It's like, I still think I'm evolving. I still don't think I'm at the top of my game. I mean, I literally just started giving a shit about my thumbnails. Like, I just started giving a shit. And look, my views have gotten better since I did. So it's like one of those things. You just keep at it. Don't get discouraged. Also, don't quit your day job, because then you'll just be really poor for 10 months and have to go work at Target eventually. But, you know, just all that stuff. Just do it.
Yeah. And those are words to live by, spoken by a true YouTuber.
A true meme.
A true meme as well. Thank you, Ash, for coming on my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Ash, things you want to plug, man, before you go off?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I guess, you know, I'm from the Captain Vitus show. If you like me, you might want to go over there. Yeah, my Die Hard review is up, if you can see just why that's the movie that changed everything for me. So go check that out. I'm on all the social medias too, Instagram and Twitter at Captain Vitus 771. You can follow me on Facebook at my Captain Vitus show Facebook page, as well as me on Letterboxd, where I believe I'm just Ash Raymer on there, Ash Vitus Raymer, Captain Vitus, something like that. You can find me on Letterboxd, where I attempt to review every movie I do in word form. If my voice gets too annoying for you and you're just like, he's annoying the hell out of me, but if he wrote a thing, yeah, I write things too. So go follow me there for all the things and all that. But, you know, overall, that's it. Thank you very much for having me on this. I had a lot of fun.
As did I. We need to do this again.
Yeah, no, I like you, man. I like you. If I can give you props, like, I always get worried when I come onto things where I haven't met people yet, and I'm like, oh no, this will be frightening. And it was frightening in the beginning because I was shaking, but now I'm like, it's natural.
Yeah,
it's natural. I like you, man.
I feel that way too. When I jump into things, I get a little bit nervous because it's hard, you know, reaching out to people and not knowing how they're going to react.
Definitely.
Because background on this, I totally went out on a whim and just contacted you. Sid wanted to know if you were down because I liked your videos, and here we are.
Yeah, funny thing is, too, you contacted me while I was drunk, and I was just like, oh, yeah! And then I woke up, and I was like, oh, shit, I agreed to an interview.
I love the way you reacted. The direct quote was, yeah, I love interviews. So I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about that night. I remember you were like, yeah, I saw you on Brian's podcast, and I kind of blacked out on Brian's podcast. I'm sorry, Brian, if you're watching this. I just rewatched the podcast, and I was like, fuck, I remember none of the last hour of this. I'm such a piece of shit. But...
And by the way, you were fucking hilarious on that.
Oh, thank you. I wouldn't know.
Unintentionally so. You're just having to get up and go pee like 6 times. I mean,
oh, I did? Oh
yeah, go fucking watch it back.
This is what happens when Carrie Fisher dies and you get really sad and drink.
Lose yourself, basically.
Yeah, but basically what I'm trying to say is, it's nice to meet you, man.
And it's nice to meet you, too. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully, when the NX comes out, I could get one. Maybe you could get one, and we could talk about some games or something.
Most definitely.
We'll have to get back together soon. So, like I said, guys, thank you for watching. I'm Michael Chu. You can find me on my channel, Michael Chu. That's where you are right now, I hope. I hope you didn't find me on some offshoot website or some shit like that.
Some guy bootlegging your shit.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Michael Chu for real. I do not have a Facebook fan page yet, but I will make one soon enough. And you can also find me on T3 Medias, where I am on the show every here and there. Thank you, Ash, for coming on. Like I said, it has been a blast.
I agree.
Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm Michael, signing out. Peace.